We're back working on the Suburban, finally, and today we're going to do some quality of life upgrades, such as this cluster. This thing has been popping out the door for quite some time, and as you can see, the faceplate fell off. I ordered a connector for this one, which was so painful because it was like $10 for one connector, and I ordered two just in case. We're going to do new lock thingies because, as you see, the chrome is disgusting. And that side, I'm already working on this, doesn't unlock the vehicle, it only locks the vehicle. So I have two of those coming. This mess that I'm currently working on, if you turned the turn signal on, left would auto cancel, but right would not. So we're fixing that today. And last but not least, we're making it so that the hood opens without me having to resort to physical violence. And we're also really quickly going to check the brakes because they're making a gnarly scratching noise, and I'm not okay with that, especially if I'm going to be hauling a trailer with a tractor on it. So let's jump into it. We see that the cable here is pretty loose. There's a lot of slack, and that's why it didn't really work in the first place. So I'm just going to push this clip open with a screwdriver, and then we'll pop our cable out. No, it's not a 6. It's not an 8. Looks like it's a 7. 6 business days later, after unscrewing that all this time, this is free, and we just have to pull on it. On the firewall, there's a rubber plug. You'll have to push that inside the cab. There's a spring that returns the hood latch mechanism back to where it started, and mine was bent out of shape, so I simply took it off, and then I bent it into shape so it'd have a little more tension, and then reinstalled it. And I also sprayed the whole mechanism with some WD-40, and wouldn't you know, my hood opens now, without physical violence. Next up is the turn signal cam, and it's easier for me to remove my steering wheel than yours probably is if you have one of these trucks. This has an aftermarket wood steering wheel, which secures with 6 screws. The big bolt on the column here is a 13/16, which happens to be a spark plug socket size, so easy as that. Instead of buying the proper tool, I have a very sketchily attached 3-jaw puller, because that's what I had. I probably should have gotten a 2-jaw puller. And surprisingly, that worked. Off it goes. This little plastic guy off of here. Now we have our steering wheel, this thing. I don't know what the fuck you call it. And we're going to attempt to take this snap ring out of here. Very annoying, but I'm glad I did that. We take it off. And there we are. But I don't think this is going to fix my problem. In fact, I'm fairly sure this is not going to fix my problem at all. Goody. Well, shit. Alright, we're going to test this before we finish this off here. Yep, that did not fix the problem. I still have to manually turn off the right blinker, because this does not work. So I need to debate now if I want to put this back together and live with it, or take this all apart and order the whole cam assembly here. So it turns out that I took this all apart for nothing. I was going to take this out of here, but I figured it was a pain in the ass. And looking at it, there's no broken plastic. I just need this spring. I found out that AutoZone has these, which I will link below. You can get these for $4. So don't buy my Amazon link ones, just use them for the part number and go to AutoZone. Okay, got the very annoying snap ring back in there. And now we can fix this piece, which I had originally super glued in Suburban Part 1. Alright, moment of truth. Right turn signal. Oh, left turn signal. Oh my god, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not gonna lie, the right turn signal has not auto-canceled since I was like 17 or 16, which was a while ago. I'm 36 this year. So now all I have left to do is torque the absolute shit out of that. Then we put our weird Zelda clip back on it. There we go. And I don't even know if you can see anything, but last but not least, we reattach the steering wheel. So you can tell which way this switch goes. It goes blue wire, orange wire, then black wire, in that order. And also the long prong here goes on this mark, which says A, and then the middle one's B, and the other one's C. So long one on A. Let's quickly take a picture of this. Redoing the power window switches was quite easy. All I did was take a picture beforehand and then transfer them over to the new one. Light green. And remember, if you really want to drive people insane, you could do inverted controls and just switch each pair of wires, and then up will be down, down will be up, and people will be mad at you. And then pink. Now before we push these back into the door panel on both sides, we're going to test them. So that way if something's wrong, I don't have to fuss with these to get them back out. So now passenger side locks, and now unlocks. Beautiful. Alright, now what about the driver's side? Lock, unlock, and actually it seems to have a lot more power now. So now we can just pop these back in. And we need to go get the keys so we can try this out. Okay, let's see. Down, up, down, oh, that's actually a little faster than it was before. Beautiful. Down to where it strips, and then back up. I need to fix that, actually. That sounds terrible. And last but not least, down and up. That one has not worked for quite some time, actually. So it's nice to be able to roll that one down again. That was the one that the little thing broke off. And that's why I spent $10 on a little connector. But it was worth it in the end. Not only does it look better, but now I don't have to f with it like being out of the door panel because it wouldn't stay clipped in there. Okay, well, with all that out of the way, all we have to do now is check the brakes because they're extra squealy and crunchy hauling this trailer here. So let's get on that. Alright, so we're just really looking for excessive wear here. And I don't see a lot. I mean, the pads are kind of wearing down quickly, but we've driven this thing a long time on these, so I don't think it's a concern. Let's check the driver's side. Yep, that's about the same pad depth. I don't have any ridiculous wear on my rotors either, so it's just kind of squeaky, I guess. That's fine. Let's check the rear ones. Alright, now for my biggest fear. Drum brakes. Oh no, those are actually not bad at all. Well, I cleaned up the drum on the inside, and at the contact points here, there's no, like, lip. So we can just throw everything back together and keep driving it. Holy shit, this is heavy. Alright, well, we're done for today. We've gotten a whole lot done with the Suburban, and the quality of life driving this thing is so much better. In the medium distance future, we really need to consider new tires on the back, because the ones on there were the ones on the front whenever the suspension was bad. The tires are pretty worn out, and you can see flat spots from where the suspension was not really letting them wear evenly. After that, or before that, I have this. It is a trailer brake controller that was given to me. I have the harness and not really much else. I don't have a bracket for it or instructions or anything like that. So we're going to see if we can hook this up to the Suburban, and that'll make life towing a trailer a little bit easier. But aside from that, that's all I got for you. So as usual, you be good while I'm gone. I'll see you next time. Have a good week.